Hello YouTube, this is Calist here for a first ever video. I've had this account on YouTube for a very long time. I haven't really used it, I haven't uploaded anything before, so this would be my first time. So to kick things off, let's start with a Dragon Exalted Pre-Release report and a little something about trades in the spirit of the game. I know it's a little unusual to have a little rant about that, but it's kind of weird to have that for a first video, but this has been a topic that's been on my mind for a very long time, so I decided I'm gonna at least mention something about that. So first of all, I'm going to start with my Dragon Exalted report. Special shout out to Game Castle. Really love that place. If you ever go to pre-release down there, you're in the Bay Area, come check that place out. Totally awesome. Staff is great. And the community there is pretty sweet. So, of course, got these shiny peoples. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I managed to pull those. Well, of course, it was me, a friend of ours who's never played Pokemon before, and of course my boyfriend. We all went to the pre-release and paid our 25 bucks to get in. And they did have a raffle during the whole time. They were raffling off the deck boxes, of course, and some packs. And I ended up getting called for a pack. I almost didn't get it. And it was really funny. Like, I totally wasn't paying attention during that whole time. And I ended up pulling this shiny guy, Giratina EX. Yes, I'm trading him away. If you're looking for him, he'll be for trade. So I unfortunately didn't manage to pull that from my packs, my tournament packs. And of course, yes, everyone got these if you went. Dragon Exalted deck box, which I thought was pretty cool. I wish, though, that they did the sleeves again, because I've heard from other previous pre-releases that they've had in the past, they've done sleeves, but, you know, deck box, that's not too bad. Alright, so, also, yes, so why is Mew EX here? Well, of course, I went to the pre-release, and I knew that in this set, Mew EX was going to be coming out, and I really wanted a full art. So I was like, hey, trading Mew EX full art for Mew EX full art, you know. And what shocked me was the amount of people that either were holding on to their Mew EX full arts, or were just like, well, that's not the same value. Now, I'm not big on the whole value issue. You know, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not even going to go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. That's a totally different topic for another day. But, you know, Mew EX, I feel still, as a full art, still has a full value. It's, you know, retains its value, even though the tins are going to be coming out this fall. For all you people who didn't know, Mew EX will be coming out as a promo in a tin, along with Darkrai EX and Rayquaza EX. Oh, snap. So, Mew EX definitely is going to be a lot more available to a lot more players. But I still think that, you know, the full art is still, it's a really nice card. I think it's still usable, and, you know, the artwork, what can you say? You can't say no to that Mewtwo. So, going back to the whole Mew EX thing, I definitely was just looking just for one, just for my deck, and people were like, nope, not trading. So, I'm hoping that come August 15th, when the Dragon Exalted does come out, I'm hoping to get a hold of maybe another, you know, maybe a Mew EX and trade for this. So now I'm gonna go ahead and have my little rant, if you will, about the spirit of the game. Now, recently, and maybe this is just me, but there's been this explosion of Yu-Gi-Oh players. Not explosion, but there's some Yu-Gi-Oh players coming over and switching over to Pokemon. I cannot tell you how many people that I've seen at these pre-releases, and as more and more people are coming, you know, to the Pokemon TCG, you know, some of them are bringing that whole attitude that I did not like, you know, from the players. And I'm not blaming the game. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not blaming Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole. I'm just blaming the community. You know, blame the community, not the actual card game. You know, it's not Konami's fault whatsoever. But well, I guess it's partially is, considering that the rarity that they do. But that's, like, again, like I said, that's a whole different topic for another day. But I was seeing a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh players that I did see when I did go to a regionals. One time I was starting to see the same type of crowd and the same type of attitude they were bringing to Pokemon. And Pokemon is not a money game. It's not about, here, let's hype up this whole card and let's be ridiculous about it. Because the thing that's different between Konami and the Pokemon International Company is the Pokemon International Company, they kind of don't care as far as, you know, the whole card game is concerned. I mean, they care in the aspect of they're going to maintain it, they're going to keep it, they're going to keep doing their tournaments, they're going to keep doing their thing. But They're not out to be like, here, let's make a ridiculous rarity and be totally, you know, we're gonna milk you for money, because they already make money off their games. They already make money off their merchandise. You know, TCG, I wouldn't say is an afterthought, but it's still somewhat maintained. The only thing that I do find problems with is that, you know, you'll get, you know, when new sets come out, you'll be getting, you know, some top 3 or 4 decks that come out, you know, when Black and White set started, you had Ezekiel's, you had you had some variants. You had people breaking out with, of course, rogue decks like the Truth, which is no longer rogue, of course. But when Mewtwo EX came out, I think that's when somewhat at the same time, you know, the Yu-Gi-Oh players were coming over, Mewtwo EX came out, and all of a sudden you had this deck or this card that was almost compared to things like Tour Guide and things like, oh, I don't know, like Dino Rabbits. You know, Mewtwo EX was becoming a staple. There was cards that were becoming staples in decks, you know, and to stay competitive, you had to have, you know, this little guy who, you know, Mewtwo EX, X-Ball for KO. Zekiels became really dangerous because of Mewtwo EX, Energy Acceleration. Now, nowadays, it's not so bad. I mean, you've got newer cards. When Darkrai EX came out, then that was the next best deck in format. And everyone was like, let's go get Darkrai's. And so then I was starting to see, because I went to the not Dragon Exalted, the Dark Explorers pre-release as well. Dark Explorers, same thing happened. And this was the funny thing. I was so prepared. I was like, you know, people were like, we want Mewtwo EX full art for Darkrai EX full art. That's it. No questions asked. So I was like, I walked into this next pre-release thinking, okay, people are going to be kind of the same way. They're not going to be trading their Mew EXs of full arts unless it's for Mewtwo EX. So that's why, again, I guess I kind of shocked about the whole attitude of, well, we're probably just going to hang on to it for now, whatever. But back to the whole spirit of the game. I was really disappointed with a lot of people that were there trying to rip other people off. That's definitely, I mean, I guess that happens in all card games, but I was shocked to see it happen in Pokemon, because Pokemon is just one of those games where you don't gain anything from ripping anyone off. In fact, the only game you would probably gain anything from doing that from is probably Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's where people, you know, get their stuff stolen, get, you know, ripped off constantly in trades. And I just see that attitude, and it really disappoints me. And so, like, for example, my friend who was brand new to Pokemon was never, you know, used to the game. He pulled a Rayquaza EX from his pack, and this girl comes up is trying to, you know, rip him off, saying, I want to trade a full art for your Rayquaza EX, and it's the Landros full art. I mean, come on, that box by itself is only $12. And Rayquaza EX, you know, I'm pretty sure we'll see some play definitely in Zekiel decks, or if anyone wants to bring back that Embor, you know, fire, energy, acceleration stuff, since Typhlosion Prime's now out, unfortunately. You know, Rayquaza EX, you know, does have a little bit of, you know, power, gives some life back into Zekiel's. But I was just startled by that, because I don't know, I have nothing to say to that. That's the attitude that I've seen from other people in other communities, not in Pokemon. I was not expecting that whatsoever. And definitely I was very disappointed, though, with some people who I thought were going to definitely be more representing the spirit of the game. I'm not going to exactly point out people, because that's just not cool, but definitely there was some attitudes of some people that, I'm only looking for these, and, you know, if you don't have anything, I'm not interested, and just, you know, just with Pokemon, there is a standard you're supposed to set. If you are a judge, or if you are hosting these events, there is a certain standard that you have to live up to, and there's a certain set of rules or /guidelines, and one of those is definitely spirit of the game. You know, being kind, being considerate, helping the new players out. You know, not sitting there ripping people off, not sitting there, you know, having this attitude, you know, having this snarky attitude about things. You know, it's Pokemon. You know, Pokemon's been around for a little while. You know, there's kids, there's adults, and everyone's supposed to come together and have a good time. So, you know, that's just my little rant on just that whole shenanigans. That's it for this video. Leave your comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section below. And just as a question for you guys, do you think that Spirit of the Game should be honored at not just Pokemon sanctioned tournaments, but also in more casual settings? And do you think it's actually starting to become a problem where people are starting to lose sight of that spirit of the game, and where they're bringing an attitude that shouldn't necessarily be brought into, a card game such as this.